All right. Hi, everyone. Again, welcome to the Gender and Society class of mine. We are already done with our 5 introductory videos or lessons so far about gender and society. That includes terminologies, spectrums, and so on and so forth. Now, we are now going to learn more about the theoretical approaches to gender development. So, what are the theories involving in understanding more about gender development? And why do we even need to learn it in the first place? For some students, theories are highly complex on how they understand theories. They always felt like theories are quite complicated. Yes, okay, and sometimes it's quite complex. However, theoretical approaches or theoretical background, not just in gender development, but in every study, is very, very important. It's really something like a framework, okay, the skeletal workforce, should I say, of a certain study or a certain discussion. Okay, so these are the theories that we are going to really discuss so far. We actually divided the lesson to 7 or maybe 6 um, discussions because it's very long. And as you all know, to all my students out there, you know that I don't really like to discuss a very long discussion because it's really, our attention span is something that I should also consider, and so on and so forth. I also don't want you to be cognitively overloaded by one YouTube video. Okay, so we will dissect or we will divide these 5 theoretical approaches into 6, okay, or into 5 videos. Okay, now we are going to start first with biological theory. But before that, let us know more if why should we really know the theoretical background or theoretical approaches when it comes to gender and development. Now, of course, basically a theory is this to describe, explain, predict relationships among phenomena. It's very important to realize that theories do more than provide explanation. This is what I've said earlier, that this is not just all about explaining things, but it's really the foundation of a certain discussion or a certain research or study. Okay, the theories we hold consciously or unconsciously influence how you see yourself as a man or woman, what you expect of women and men generally, and what possibilities you see as open to each sex. Okay, now that's why um, we will start with a biological theoretical approach because you know everything starts with our DNA. All right. Okay. Now, so these are the 4 classifications of a series of gender development. Okay. Number one is that the one that focuses on biological basis of gender, which is the biological theoretical approach. Okay. Those that emphasize the interpersonal origins of gender. Okay. Those that concentrate on cultural influences on gender development, and those that offer critical perspectives on gender as shaped by, as speaking back to cultural ideology. Okay. Now, so we will start now with biological theory. Of course, as you can see there, the theory is really more on your internal, your physiological, all right, with how your body chemical works, how your brain functions, and those things that could really affect your gender development as well. Now, so as you can see here, the BT or biological theory offers one explanation for observable differences between women and men. Okay, so of course, observable differences are the male and female genitalia. Okay, the breast, of course, and the chest of a man and the breast of a woman, and how a certain women carry a baby. Okay, and men cannot do it as well. All right. So this approach maintains that the biological characteristics of the sexes are the basis of gender differences. Okay, biological characteristics. That's what I've said earlier. Biological based theories focuses on how X and Y chromosomes, hormonal activities, and brain's specialization influence a range of individual qualities from body features to thinking and motor skills. So since there's a lot of things going on in our body, okay, so we will just more focus more on the chromosomes, hormonal activities, and brain specializations. Okay. Now, so as you can see here, most males have an XY chromosome structure. So I think you already know this one during your biological class or biology class, should I say. And most females have an X and XX chromosome structure. So genetic evidence, okay, shows that several genes controlling intelligence are located only on X chromosome. Okay, remember, X chromosome. This implies that some aspects of males' intelligence are inherited only from their mothers, whereas females, who usually inherit an X chromosome from each parent, may inherit their intelligence from both parents. So as you can see here, the X chromosome is from their mother. Okay, usually, okay, X chromosome is really the carrier of the intelligence. That's why we have this sometimes when we have our friend or a cousin who's very, very intelligent or smart, then a mother usually say, as per in the Filipino term, nagmana yan sa akin, liwat manggod na nako. Okay, and biologically speaking, yes, it is really, really true and possible. Yes, okay, because as what was implied here, the X chromosome is really the genes that controls intelligence. Okay, but it doesn't mean that when you are a girl, since you have double X chromosome, it doesn't mean that you're way more smarter and more intelligent than compared to a male. No, the explanation here is that when a girl, okay, who usually inherit double chromosomes from each parent, may inherit both intelligences from both parents. So it doesn't really mean that they are way smarter than men, okay, but it means that they can inherit their intelligence from both parents. All right, okay, so don't be confused with that because X and Y is for male and XX is for female. Okay, so as you can see here, this is how it looks like supposed to be. I'm not going to really go into details, okay, because we are focusing on the gender development theories, not really on the DNA or biological side of how our physiological functions work. Okay, so again, when you have an XX chromosome, then biologically you are a female, and when you have an X and Y chromosome, then biologically you are a male. Now, genetic researchers have also reported that the primary gene responsible for social skills is active on the X chromosomes, and that is why women are more adept and comfortable in socializing compared to men. You get it? Again, okay, as per the genetic research, the primary gene responsible for social skills is active on the X chromosome. And as you all know, women has double X chromosome. That's why genetically speaking, okay, women are really more comfortable and adept on socializing compared to men. Comment down below if you agree with this one. And comment down below if you as a woman, are you sociable or do you have a high social skill? Or if you are a man, you can also comment on the comment section below if you are the opposite, like you are really more on the socializing. Okay. Now, X and Y chromosomes are distinct. Okay. The X is larger than the Y, and the X holds 1,100 genes, whereas the Y holds only about 50 genes. In part because of the larger number of genes carried on the X chromosome, it is more of a multitasker than the Y. So it means that since X is way larger than Y when it comes to carrying genes, it means that if you have double X, you have more tendencies of being a multitasker compared to X and Y. Remember, this is biological, okay? Let's not be very sensitive and say I disagree with this one. Okay, this is not being stereotype based, but this is a biological or genetic research based. This is not a social construction based. So there's no stereotype here. These are all genetically researched, right? Okay, it may not, you may not agree or you may disagree about this one. Okay, or you may agree with this one. Again, these are all genetically based. Okay, so it means that women, as per this one, is more on a multitasker than men, because as what I've said earlier, women has double X chromosome while men has an X and Y chromosome. Okay, the Y chromosome's primary function is determining that a fertilized egg will evolve into a male. Okay, the X chromosome, however, controls a lot more than sex determination. In addition, the X carries genes that influence intelligence and susceptibility to a range of hereditary conditions. Since in the most common sense, basically, since X chromosome holds way larger genes compared to Y, so it's like the X is the X is the decision maker. Okay, X is the decision maker when it comes to determining the sex. Okay, X is also um, carries the influence of intelligence. However, since it has more way genes compared to Y, X is also responsible for carrying hereditary conditions like diabetes and other family hereditary diseases. Right? Okay. Now, that is really more on the chromosome, by the way, everyone. Right? So don't really feel bad about it, okay? Because again, these are all genetically researched. Okay, this is not a social construct based theory. So this is not really a stereotype inducing discussion, okay? Because these are all highly genetic. Okay, so again, just to sum up before we go to the hormones, X is way larger than Y. Okay, that's why X is also more like carries the intelligence. Okay, more like the decision maker when it comes to your gender. And on the other side is the carrier also for family hereditary conditions as well. Okay, X is also has the highly sociable you know um, skill. That's why women are highly adept when it comes to socializing compared to men. Okay, so X and Y chromosome. Now, let's now go to the second focus of biological theory, which focuses on sex hormones. It is said here that it also affects the development of brain as well as the body. Hormones like testosterone, estrogen, there's a lot of hormones in our body. Okay, but we're going to focus more on the testosterone and estrogen only. Okay. For instance, estrogen, the primary female hormone, causes women's bodies to produce good cholesterol and to make their blood vessels more flexible than those of men. Okay, estrogen strengthens the immune system, making women generally less susceptible to immune disorders and more resistant to infections and viruses. Estrogen causes fat tissue to form around women's hips, which provides cushioning for fetus during pregnancy. And estrogen seems to impede or impede liver functioning such that women eliminate alcohol more slowly than men and thus may react more quickly for alcohol consumption. Oh, okay. So as you can see, estrogen is found majority the the largest or the number of estrogen in women is greater compared to men. Okay, so as you can see here, estrogen is really more on helping a woman's body to adjust and be flexible, not just on the possible diseases, but also for blood vessels. All right. So as you can see, the thing about here is that women biologically has the highest probability to get drunk easier compared to men. So women have low tolerance in alcohol compared to men. I know for sure I have friends here. I also have friends that there are also women who has higher tolerance in alcohol compared to men. But again, these are all research based. So it really depends sometimes, but at least at some point, that is really the main core reason why we have theories. It's our basis. All right. Okay. So that's why men may react more quickly to, men and thus may react more quickly to alcohol consumption. Okay. So for male sex hormones too have some documented effects as well as some controversial possible influences. Like women, men have hormonal cycles that affect their behavior. All right. So it's not just women who has mood swings, but also men as well. Males who use drugs, engage in violent and abusive behavior, and have behavior problems tend to be at their cycle's peak level of testosterone, the primary male hormone. Higher levels of testosterone are also linked to jockeying for power, attempts to influence or dominate others, and physical expressions of anger. Now, this is just really the highest peak. Okay, I'm not saying that since men has testosterone, every man could really be, be aggressive and dominating or seeking for power. It's not really like that. But if you're going to read this one, okay, as what was said here, okay, tend to be at their cycle's peak level. So for men, if you're for men, if you felt like your mood swings are worse already, like everything seems to be upsetting you, then maybe your testosterone is quite high. All right. Or maybe when someone is really seeking subconsciously for power and authority, maybe biologically speaking, their testosterone is very high. All right. Okay. So that could also be a factor. Okay, so additional research indicates that hormones influence cognitive abilities, including decoding nonverbal communication and judging moving objects. Okay, beginning around the age of 30, men's testosterone level declines. Unlike the acute hormonal change that women experience with menopause, men's hormonal change is more gradual with testosterone levels dropping about 1% a year after age 30. Okay. So it means that at some point, it includes sex drive, of course. Okay, and it includes some sports activity. Okay. So as you can see here, at the age of 30, men's testosterone level declines. Okay. So yep. Now, so hormones influence skills and tendencies we associate with gender. Okay, that's very, very obvious there. So the way our body chemistry and the way our hormones, okay, react or produced by whatever we have in our external social construct, external factors or internal factors are really affecting on how we understand and associate gender, not just towards other people, but towards ourselves as well. Okay, so research shows that girls favor trucks over dolls if their mothers had atypically high levels of testosterone during pregnancy. Okay, take note of that. And that males who are given estrogen experience declines in spatial skills, which tend to be greater in males, and increase in verbal skills, which tend to be greater in females. So basically, when a girl plays guns, the typical boys toys, it means that during their mother's pregnancy they have a high level of the testosterone. Now for male who are really showing skills or showing traits that is greater on women, it means that during their pregnancy or during their mother's pregnancy they have higher estrogen. But don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean that they have higher estrogen level during their pregnancy and they're male, they become part of the LGBT community automatically. No, it's not like that. Again, remember everyone, the SOGI spectrum, you can really be straight, but you can really act feminine at the same time. Okay. All right. Now, a third focus of biological theories of difference is brain structure and development, which appear to be linked to sex. Although there are some inconsistencies in research findings, the majority of research indicates that although both women and men use both lobes of the brain, each sex tends to specialize in one. That's true. For example, men's brains generally have better developed left lobes. Okay, so if you want, you can touch your brain right now. Okay, so touch your left lobe of your brain. Okay, which control linear thinking, sequential information, spatial skills, and abstract analytic reasoning. Specializing in the right lobe. Okay, again, touch your right hemisphere of your brain or head, should I say. Women tend to have greater aptitude for imaginative and artistic activity, for holistic, intuitive thinking, and for some visual and spatial tasks. Okay, so now these are the different lobes of the brain. Okay, so frontal is on your forehead, parietal is in the center, occipital is at the rear, and temporal is under is you know it's the under the parietal lobe. Okay. Now, research indicates that women tend to use both sides of their brains to perform language tasks. Okay. Whereas men are more likely to use only or primarily the left sides of their brains. Okay. In women, the prefrontal cortex, okay, cortex is near your forehead, which restrains aggression, is larger and develops earlier than in men. And the insula, which affects intuition and empathy, is larger. In men, the amygdala, okay, amygdala is within the parietal lobe, okay, which is the center of emotions such as anger and fear, is larger, okay, which may explain why men are more likely than women to engage in more risky and aggressive behavior. So as you can see here, just for you to really understand it, the structure of our brain is also, you know, it's very different from men and women. Okay, so there are structures, there are parts of the brain that is larger on men compared to women. Okay, and there are structures of our brain that is, maximized purpose or use for women than men. Okay, so the amygdala, okay, which is larger in men, um, it is actually the center of emotions such as anger and fear. That's why, if you can really see statistically speaking, okay, there are still men who are really, more on the adrenaline-inducing activities, okay, more aggressive, so on and so forth, okay. But it doesn't mean that women cannot be part of the adrenaline-inducing activities or cannot be aggressive. It's just that majority are men, but it doesn't mean that women can't be like that, okay. Now, so this is your left brain, the green one, and the right part of your brain, the red one. So as you can see here, um, as per indicated here, both women likely to use what? Primarily the left of their brains. Okay, so left, analytical, logical, precise, repetitive, and so on and so forth. Okay, all right, so you can all read that already. Okay, all right. Now, the force of biology is evident in cases where doctors try to change a child's biological sex. Okay, um, perhaps the most famous case is that of David Reimer, which is often called the case of David slash Brenda. Okay, so here, when David was 8 months old, okay, a surgeon mistakenly amputated his penis during surgery to correct phimosis, a condition in which the foreskin of the penis interferes with urination. Okay, so following doctor's advice, a year later, the parents decided to have normalizing surgery performed on David. So his testicles were removed. So as you can see there, okay, David's genitalia was removed. Okay, he was given hormones to induce female characteristics. So hormones that can really make his body chemistry into a girl. Okay, and I think some of transgender are also doing this one to induce female characteristics. So for some transgender, they take some pills, some injections. Okay, um, those are hormonal injections. Okay, that could really, induce the features of being a female. For example, um, reduction of hair or mustache. Okay, increase in the breast. Okay, it also decrease the size of their male genitalia. Okay, it also decreases the mass of muscles because women have lesser dense in when it comes to bones and muscles compared to men. Okay, and so on and so forth. Okay, so and he was renamed Brenda. Brenda did not take to being a girl, so David was really against it. Okay, now he preferred toys were her preferred toys were trucks and guns. She made routinely ripped off the dresses her parents made her wear. And despite not having a penis, Brenda preferred to urinate standing up. Even hormonal treatments and therapists could not convince Brenda to accept being a girl. Okay. Finally, when Brenda was about 15, her father told her that she had been born a boy, sorry. For Brenda slash David, things now made sense. David had his breast removed and a penis constructed using muscle tissue and cartilage, took male hormone shots, and began to live as a male. At age 25, David married a woman with children, and he helped raise his three stepchildren. In June of 2004, at age 38, David took his own life. Okay. Um, well, there's more than identity crisis here. Okay. There is more than discrimination here within um, David's core or self. All right. So as you can see here, the biological approach here is that even though your observable traits or observe your biological parts that make you or distinguish you from a female to male and so on is not really enough. Okay, it's not really enough for you to really be convinced that you are a girl or a boy. Sometimes it's really more on how your body chemistry reacts or how your body chemistry works. Because you can see here, if you come to think about it, um, David or Brenda should have learned that she is a girl, right? Because at um, at David's young age, okay, which is 8 months old, he was already declared as a female by removing the genitalia. So if you come to think about it, Brenda should have been known that she is Brenda all along. But as the days go by, Brenda felt like this is not okay. I felt like I'm not really a girl. I felt like I'm a boy. That's why at the age of um, you know, at the age of 15, okay, um, Brenda asked to have surgery to remove his breast or her breast and construct a penis because he or she really felt that she was born to be a he. Okay, all right. So in summary, biological theories of gender attribute masculine and feminine qualities and abilities to genetics and biology. Specifically, it appears that chromosomes, hormones, and brain structure may affect physiology, thinking, and behavior. Biological theory is valuable in informing us about. Okay, so again, okay, this is the biological theoretical approach when it comes to gender development. Our hormones, our brain functioning, and even our chromosomes really affect us, really affect our identity, biologically or social construct. All right, I do hope that you've learned a lot about this one. And if you have any questions or anything that you want to add that I haven't included during the lesson, I am very happy for you to really comment it in the comment section below. And if you have any suggestions or any advice on what content should I make as well, or any, academical or academe um, property should I start discussion, you can also comment it on the comment section below. Okay, so I'll see you again next time, and please don't forget to subscribe and like this content.